Imagine for a moment that everything in your life begins to flow smoothly. The right people appear at the right time. Opportunities open up effortlessly. Your body feels light, your mind clear, and your heart at peace. And if I told you that this is not fantasy or chance, but the direct result of your vibration, everything in the universe vibrates. You vibrate. Your thoughts, your emotions, your words, your actions. They are all energetic pulses that emit a frequency. This frequency is like an invisible language that the universe understands and responds to. And that is why what you emit attracts it. But here is the key that few people know. It is not enough to temporarily raise your vibration. The true transformation occurs when you manage to sustain that high vibration permanently, regardless of external circumstances, without falling into the ups and downs that consume your energy and disconnect you from your true power. And that is the deep teaching of this video. In this trip, we will reveal why maintaining a high vibration is not only possible, but also necessary if you want to awaken your consciousness, manifest clearly, and walk through life from your most authentic spiritual center. You will see that raising your vibration does not mean being positive all the time or pretending a forced happiness. It is not about avoiding darkness either. Rather, it is about inhabiting an internal frequency of truth, coherence, and presence, even in the midst of chaos. This video will be your map. We will explore the ancestral origin of the concept of vibration from esoteric traditions. You will understand how vibration works in your physical, mental, and spiritual body. We will reveal what blocks your frequency and how you can transcend it. And finally, you will learn practices, changes, and decisions that can anchor you in a state of high energy that no longer goes down. Get ready to discover why you are more than a physical body, more than a personal story, more than a passing emotion. You are vibration in motion. And today, you will remember how to elevate it and sustain it as an energetic master. Are you ready to cross that threshold? The idea that everything in the universe vibrates is not a modern invention, nor a recent spiritual fashion. It is an ancestral truth, repeated in different ways by the wisest civilizations in history. From the Hermetic teachings of ancient Egypt to the sutras of yoga in India, the principle of vibration has been considered a universal law. The Kybalion, an esoteric text attributed to Hermeticism, declares in his second great law, "Nothing is immobile, everything moves, everything vibrates." This axiom, although poetic, encloses a deep reality. Vibration is the secret breath of the universe. Everything that exists, matter, thought, emotion, soul, vibrates at a specific frequency. And that frequency not only defines its nature, it also determines with what other things it resonates. In the Vedic tradition, this idea is expressed through the concept of spanda, which literally means sacred vibration. According to this vision, the divine consciousness, Shiva or Brahman, is not a static presence, but an eternal dance of vibrating energy that pulses through all forms of life. The universe, then, is not a dead structure, but a living symphony where each human being is a note with its own frequency. American shamans also understood this truth. For them, every living being, a stone, a river, an eagle, or a human being, has an internal melody. When someone is sick, he loses that melody. When someone is healthy, he vibrates in harmony with the Great Spirit again. Throughout time, These teachings were whispered among beginners, preserved in secret rituals, and hidden from the eyes of the modern world, which measures everything by the tangible. But the esoteric did not disappear. It only became more subtle. Today, quantum physics begins to confirm what the wise knew by direct intuition, that matter is not solid, that everything is made up of moving particles, that vibration is the structural basis of reality. So, what does this mean to you? It means that you are not a static entity. You are not your past, nor your thoughts, nor your emotions. You are a frequency in constant oscillation, and that frequency can be modulated. Have you noticed how certain people radiate peace as soon as they enter a place? Or how others seem heavy, even without opening their mouths? That is vibration. It cannot be faked. It cannot be forced, but it can be elevated. And here comes the great spiritual dilemma. Most people fluctuate. They go up and down like an emotional pendulum, trapped in external circumstances. But the great masters, the ancient wise men, taught us that it is possible to anchor a higher vibration as a permanent state of being. How? Not through a technique, not by a positive, temporary thought, but through an internal transformation where the soul becomes the center of command, and the mind, the body, and the emotions begin to revolve around it. This is the knowledge that transforms, because those who understand how their vibration works understand how their life works. And when you elevate your frequency, you not only change your experience, you reconfigure the reality that surrounds you. To elevate your vibration in a permanent way, first you must understand what exactly that vibration you emit is and how it is generated. It is not an abstract or metaphysical concept without practical application. Vibration is the living sum of everything you are at this moment. Thoughts, emotions, words, actions, habits, and the deepest thing, your intentions. Imagine that you are like a radio station. Every thought you have, every emotion you hold, every word you pronounce is tuned to a specific frequency. Some are soft, clean, elevated. Others more dense, confusing, or messy. The important thing here is not to raise your vibration at times, but to learn to hold the highest frequency you can and make it your natural state. But what makes up that frequency? 1. Thought and perception. Your vibration is intimately related to how you interpret reality. Two people can live the same situation, but react in completely different ways. One can panic, rage, or frustration. The other can observe, reflect, and act calmly. Which of the two do you think vibrates the highest? Thinking is not the problem. The problem is how you think. If your mind constantly repeats judgments, fears, criticisms, comparisons, you are anchoring a low vibration, even if you try to meditate or feel better. The vibration rises when thought aligns with consciousness, when you stop reacting automatically and consciously choose how to observe the world. 2. Sustained emotion. Here is an important nuance. It is not about repressing emotions. It is about not identifying with them chronically. You can feel sadness, anger, anxiety. They are human and necessary. But if you inhabit them as your base state, your vibration stagnates. An emotion like gratitude, for example, has a much higher measurable frequency than resentment or guilt. And the most fascinating thing is that you can train to inhabit those higher emotions, even in difficult circumstances. The sustained emotion, not the momentary one, is what tells the universe who you are vibrantly. 3. Your relationship with the present. The present moment is the gateway to the highest vibration. When you are fully in the now, without resistance, without expectation, without judgment, your energy field is ordered. The present is the only place where you can experience peace, fullness, and real connection with your being. People who live in the past, moaning wounds, or constantly projected into the future with fear, anxiety, or excessive desire, vibrate at unstable frequencies. Energy is dispersed, fragmented, and contaminated. Inhabiting the present is not just a spiritual practice, it is an energetic technology. 4. Your internal coherence. Here we come to one of the most powerful pillars for a high and permanent vibration. Coherence. When what you think, feel, say, and do are in harmony, your field becomes solid, luminous, magnetic. Internal incoherence, on the contrary, fractures your vibration. You can say, "I am light," but live in fear. You can proclaim, "I believe in love," but act from guilt or manipulation. The universe does not respond to what you say. It responds to who you are really being. All this leads us to an inevitable truth. Your vibration does not rise magically with affirmations or superficial rituals. It rises when you decide to become someone who vibrates higher. Raising your vibration may seem simple at first. You meditate, make positive affirmations, connect with nature, practice gratitude, and feel an inner expansion. However, the real challenge is not to rise for moments, but to sustain that vibration in the middle of the world, when external stimuli threaten to drag you to denser frequencies. Here comes into play the deepest art of spiritual awakening, the mastery of conscious vibration. The universe is a mirror, and not a passive one, but dynamic. It reflects your inner state at all times, but it also puts it to the test. Just when you start to vibrate higher, people, situations, or thoughts appear that apparently try to destabilize you. It is not punishment, it is training. Have you noticed how, after a moment of spiritual clarity, you can experience a sudden emotional confrontation? It is because when you rise, your energy illuminates dark corners that used to remain hidden. What was not resolved comes to the surface, and there you have a choice: return to the old pattern or maintain your frequency from a higher consciousness. This is the first obstacle, the energetic receding. It is not that you have failed, it is that your system is reorganizing. Imagine that you are tuning an instrument. At first it sounds out of tune, but if you insist with delicacy, with presence, with love, the sound transforms. So do you. Another challenge is the collective mental noise. We live in a culture that feeds fear, urgency, comparison, devaluation. Vibrating high in a world that vibrates low requires a silent rebellion. You can't wait for approval or understanding. Often you will be misinterpreted, judged, or even ignored. But it is in that silence where your power grows. Because when you don't need to be understood to be yourself, you have freed yourself. In addition, there is the trap of the spiritual ego. It is easy to confuse high vibration with superiority, with feeling more evolved, more conscious. But that comparison, that need for validation, is already an energetic descent. The soul does not compete, it only vibrates. And the higher your state, the more humility, the more compassion, the more silence lives in you. Maintaining a high frequency does not mean avoiding human emotions. It means not living trapped in them. You can feel sadness without becoming sadness. You can go through fear without giving your power to fear. You can recognize your shadow without letting your light fade. At this point, it is vital to develop conscious self-observation, not to judge you, but to readjust you. Ask yourself simple questions. Does this thought raise me or contract me? Does this emotion connect me or separate me? Does this action honor my truth or my fear? The key is not perfection, it is vibrational honesty. Being authentic at every moment, even if that authenticity hurts a little, because that truth, sustained with love, is what raises your frequency effortlessly. Not because of what you do, but because of who you are deciding to be at every moment. And finally, there is the most powerful ingredient: surrender. When you stop resisting, forcing, controlling, your energy opens up. High vibration is not achieved, it is allowed, and it happens when you align yourself with the flow of life. When you choose to trust the invisible. When you understand that you are not alone, but sustained by a greater order. Raising your frequency, then, is an act of faith. Sustaining it is an act of mastery. Raising your vibration is not an isolated event, nor an occasional experience. It is a sacred discipline, a way of life that is chosen with each thought, each word, and each act. Authentic spirituality is not measured by how many books you read or how many rituals you know, but by how you live your daily life from consciousness. Here I present to you 7 practices that, if you integrate them with commitment, can profoundly transform your energy field and help you to inhabit a higher vibration permanently. First, wake up with a high intention. Do not start your day reacting to external noise. Before touching your phone, before thinking about your worries, connect with yourself. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Ask yourself, what energy do I want to inhabit today? This simple act aligns your consciousness with a clear frequency from the first moment. No matter what happens outside, you have already chosen how to vibrate inside. Second, take care of what you eat and not just food. Everything that enters your body and mind affects your vibration. It is not about perfection, but about discernment. Observe how you feel after certain foods, songs, conversations, news, or social networks. Do they expand or constrain you? The high vibration requires coherence with what allows you to enter your field. Surround yourself with information, environments, and people who nourish your energy, not who drain it. Third, silence and conscious breathing. In the midst of the chaos of the day, find moments to stop and breathe. 5 minutes of silence can raise your vibration more than hours of anxious productivity. Breathing is the bridge between the physical and the subtle. Breathe deeply. Exhale slowly. Return to the present. There is the purest vibration. Fourth, speak truthfully from the heart. Words are an incarnated vibration. Every time you speak, you are creating. Avoid judgment, complaint, and empty criticism. Not because it is wrong, but because it lowers your frequency without you noticing. Speak with compassion. Express from authenticity. Use your voice as an instrument of clarity, love, and purpose. Fifth, move as a living energy. The body needs movement for the energy to flow. Dancing, walking consciously, practicing yoga, or simply stretching when you wake up allows your vibratory field to unlock. Physical stagnation generates emotional stagnation. Movement is energy medicine. Sixth, Be grateful for no reason. Gratitude is not just an emotion, it is one of the highest frequencies you can inhabit, and you don't need great achievements to practice it. Be grateful for your breathing, for the light of day, for having a path to travel. The vibration of gratitude raises your perception and connects you with the real abundance, which is not having more, but seeing more. Seventh, rest deeply. Sleep is not just physical repair, it is vibrational recalibration. The body needs rest to integrate the frequencies it experiences. Respecting your sleep cycles, creating calm spaces before going to sleep, and disconnecting from screens or negative stimuli is essential to wake up with clean energy. Remember, raising your vibration is not a destiny, but a continuous practice. And you don't need to do it perfectly. You just need to do it presently. A daily decision, a conscious action, a moment of silence can be enough to remember who you are and return to your center. Because in every moment you have the power to choose, lower the noise of the world, or go up to the temple of your soul. You have come this far, not by chance. Your soul has brought you to this knowledge because it is ready to remember something essential. You are not a victim of the energy that surrounds you. You are the creator of the frequency you emanate. In a world that constantly seeks to lower you, distract you, and disconnect you, holding a high vibration becomes a revolutionary act, a path of energy sovereignty that not only transforms your life, but also that of those around you. Because, as we have already seen, vibration is contagious. And when you choose to inhabit a higher frequency, your only presence begins to resonate with other souls ready to wake up. But this is where many people stumble. They hope that raising their vibration is a miraculous event, a technique that works immediately, an emotion that is sustained alone. High vibration is the result of a daily commitment, deep and silent with yourself. It requires that you look at yourself with truth, that you observe your thoughts not from judgment, but from consciousness, that you feel your emotions not as enemies, but as messengers, that you inhabit your body as a temple and not as a prison, and above all, that you choose the present as your only place of power. Because only in the here and now can you make aligned decisions, take care of your energy, clean your field, elevate your habits, and become a channel through which the higher consciousness can flow. This is not theory. It is living practice. It is sitting in silence when the noise wants to dominate you. That is to say, no to what no longer vibrates with you, even if it scares you. It is holding on with compassion when everything seems to collapse. And yet, choose the light again. That is the vibration that does not break. That is the energy that does not depend on the external. That is the inner force that turns the human being into a master of himself. And when you do it, when you really hold that frequency beyond the initial enthusiasm, something sacred happens. Reality begins to reflect that inner state. Your environment changes, your relationships are purified, your opportunities are aligned, not because you are attracting it, but because you are already vibrating from there. And now I tell you clearly, the world does not need more information. The world needs more people vibrating from the soul, people like you who dare to remember their power and use it with love, with truth, with conscience. So, if this message resonated with you, do not let it pass. Incorporate it, practice it, inhabit it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to continue exploring the mysteries of energy, spirituality, and inner transformation. Like it if you felt that this information touched a deep part of you, and share this video with those who are also ready to remember their original vibration. Because when you change your frequency, the whole universe begins to dance to your rhythm.